Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 177. And today we are here with Tristian Church of Stage Motorsports. Tristian, what's up, bro?
How's it going, bro? Excited to be with you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, dude. It's crazy how things just end up working out. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
We just talked a few days ago about the podcast.
Yeah.
And then something came up, and I'm just like, man, it would be good to have Tristian on, dude. You're a hustler, bro, and I've been watching you ever since you've started out, and I'm excited to have you on. So before we get any further, can you just give people a quick breakdown of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, man. So I'm Tristian. I live right now in North Carolina, and I own Stage Motorsports, which is we kind of do aftermarket performance parts mainly, and we supply those and install those. And then I'm a co-owner of a new company called Pit Bike Nation, which my son started with his dirt bikes and stuff. So we're doing that too. So we're trying to get that off the ground, having a good time. But mainly the performance part stuff. Yeah.
Dope, man. So how long ago did you start Stage?
So I started Stage in August of 2014 with a really good buddy of mine, and it basically just started that I've been into cars for a long time. And I've been a customer for a very long time. And I just was starting to get really fed up with customer service and people just sort of like companies taking your hard-earned money. Yeah. And there being no follow-through, shipping delays, no kind of anything like that. And I kind of thought that I could do a better job of fulfilling that kind of need. So I said, let me see what I could do and get that started. So we started that company, and I would think within 6 months I bought my partner out because I was just working too hard and he really wasn't. Yeah. So, it's one of those things where, I try to hustle on the daily, and, I didn't really want to be held down. So 2014 we started, but it's,
Got you.
Been a crazy ride.
2014. Okay, cool. And then when did you start with NvUS?
So I joined NvUS in about the middle of 2012. Okay. So pretty much since the beginning. NvUS started in 2011. Yeah. So right when I moved to North Carolina, I joined NvUS. Within, 3 months or so, I became a regional lead, which was crazy in itself because we had a bunch of members drop from the team to start their own thing. So when I first started that, we had, I think, about 12 members on the East Coast in 3 different states. So we were small. Mm-hmm. And I became the regional, and we've been, just growing and growing and growing. And now we have a chapter in just about every state up and down the East Coast. We're moving, inland from the East Coast. So just about every state in the country, we have a chapter now. And then, now I'm one of the 2 directors of operations.
And that's probably right under Jimmy, right? The 2 directors of operations.
Yeah, exactly. So we have Jimmy and then Ludger, who's the vice president, and then it's me and Ryan Kelly. So we're right under the vice president. We handle more like the day-to-day operation. Yeah. Dealing with the regionals and the chapter leads and any issues that might arise from that. And then we kind of like to keep Ludger and Jimmy working with sponsors and working on the main stuff with the team, but we kind of handle more so the team and bring up anything them that might be really important. But
crazy, man. So when you started with them, there was only how many members?
So when I started with the team, I think we had about maybe 30 members. Yeah. Within I think 3 chapters. Yeah. And within those 2 to 3 months, just about all of them dropped the team to start a new team. And there were 12 of us left. So we went North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida at the time, and there were 12 members in total on those 3 states. Yeah, and you know what it's like now because you've been to the East Coast. Like you've been to Honda days and stuff, and so just to think, I think the last Honda day that I went to was the North Carolina one at ZMAX. Yes, and we brought 80 cars that were registered, 80 NvUS cars, but over 120 members were there, either with those cars or just showing up to support and stuff. So, we definitely like to show out.
That's cool, man. To be there from the beginning and just to be part of that like core group. So what was it like
Yeah.
back then versus now?
It was way different. You know, things evolve as they get bigger, you know, and we've always had our kind of leadership structure,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of like a PM who's a prospect member, then a member, then a chapter lead, then a state lead, then a regional, you know, and so on. But at that point, we didn't really have enough members to have so much leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, it was just member, chapter lead, regional. And that was sort of it in the early stages. You know, we had the vice president and all that. We had, I forget what we even called it, but directors of operation wasn't even a thing then.
Mm-hmm.
It was something else. I forget the title. But, you know, so it was way different. You know, we didn't have the apparel stuff going. So it was kind of a free for all in terms of that. Jimmy wasn't making apparel. So it was every chapter would kind of try to design something, anything we could put on with the logo that we could rep at shows. You know, we were like, yeah, we got a shirt, whatever. But it wasn't, you know, the structure really wasn't how it is now.
Gotcha.
But the one thing that we've always had is that family type vibe or atmosphere.
Yeah.
Where it's always been, you know, really family oriented, which is a lot of things that you won't find in other kind of car clubs. So like, for example, we got invited to be in Furious 7 in California.
That's
Fast
right.
and Furious. Yeah, so I did not know anybody on the West Coast at that time. Never been to California or anything. And Ryan hit me up. He's like, hey, bro, you want to bring your car out? Like a bunch of us are going. We're bringing like 15 cars or something. I'm like, yeah, dude, that'd be rad. Like, I've never been out there. Let's do it. So I found a trailer, got my car in a trailer, drove across country, having known nobody, bro. Like, I mean, nobody. Never been out there. And it took us 3 days. I went with a buddy.
Yeah.
Took us 3 days to get out there. And I pull up to Jimmy's house, and I think it was like July 4th.
Uh-huh.
So there were fireworks going. Bro, he had a barbecue. Like, I'm talking probably 60, 70 people on his front lawn, like showing out in Visalia. So I pull up, and I'm like, oh, damn. Like, I don't know anybody. Everybody. And Jimmy comes out, and he's like, hey, bro, I'm so happy to have you here. Like, much love, this and that. He's like, park right down there, down the street. Come up, and, you know, I'll introduce you to everybody. I'm like, all right, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And on the way, I told him, I'm like, man, where's a good hotel to stay at?
Yeah.
He's like, nah, bro, I'm staying at my house. Like, none of that, you know? I'm like, dude, you sure? He's like, yeah, cool. All right. So I pull up, get out of the car. Bro, he turns off the music. He shuts down the party, and he brings everybody. He's like, yo, I just want to introduce Tristian. He's one of our regionals. This is so-and-so. And he introduced me to almost everybody at the party. And I'm like, damn, dude, this is cool. You know what I mean? Like, everybody. And I'm like, hey, brother, I'm from this chapter. Hey, brother, I'm from this chapter. And I'm like, damn, like, this is crazy, you know? And it was a life experience that I will never forget. And I became so close with, you know, people that I've never met before. But just sharing that same passion and sharing the same kind of family, it's like I've known those people my whole life, you know? So it's, I mean, we definitely shared a really cool experience and a lifetime kind of bond, you know?
I love it, dude. So after that experience, like did that change your motivation that you had towards NvUS? Like take it to another level?
Yeah, sort of. So before that, you know, when everybody was kind of dropping, I had it in my mind. I'm like, man, should I stay or should I not? Like, because the people that recruited me had all left. So it was really me and a couple guys in different states. And I'm like, man, should I keep doing this? Should I not? Like, but I really believed in that family atmosphere and that kind of group. Mm-hmm. So once I went out to California, man, and we did all that, I mean, that really, really sealed the deal at that point, you know, and we had been making moves on the East Coast and growing. So, I mean, I knew that we were growing, and I knew that, you know, it was big in California and what was going on there.
Yeah.
At that time, I could have never foreseen where we are now. Like, it's just unheard of. Like, you couldn't imagine it at the time.
So let's see the other chapters that you guys have. Throw some names out there besides in the States.
In the States. So we have Japan,
Uh-huh.
we have Australia, we have a bunch in South America, Central America. We're working on Ireland right now. We have Turkey, we have Belgium, we have the UK, we have, I'm trying to think of what else. We have a ton
That's
though. Like
crazy.
the Middle East, actually, surprisingly, the Middle East is like really growing, and those dudes in Turkey, man, are crazy, crazy, crazy awesome, and they represent to the fullest, and they have a ton of really crazy builds.
Yeah.
And but yeah, man, pretty much, our mission is to kind of have a chapter just about everywhere we can, and especially at a time like the world we're living in right now,
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see because we're all different ethnicities, we're all different cultures. We have Arabs, we have blacks, we have whites, we have Asians, we have everybody you could think of,
Yeah.
and it's all just love, man. It's all just family, so it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to be around you guys, especially when you're all together, like at a meet or something like that. It's quite a bond.
Yeah.
I remember there was that one day. I think it was North Carolina H Day. That was when you had your RSX.
Yeah. So that was a fun experience. We came to pick you up at the hotel,
Yeah.
and we were rolling around trying to find some street races.
Yeah.
And and when we did that, my fuel pump blew up on the highway,
Yeah.
and so we couldn't figure out what was wrong with the car, and we were all pulled up. I think there was like 30 of us on the highway. We were all just pulled up on the shoulder, and I had a member come take me back to the hotel so we could get my trailer and some gas cans, and we ended up putting a car in the trailer and just kind of driving around all night. And we had a blast, man. It was a really bad situation, and I didn't know if I could get the car into the show because I couldn't drive it in.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me trailer it in. But we ended up staying up all night, kind of hanging out. It was a great time. And the next morning, a member towed me in with his S2000,
Mm-hmm.
and another member was elbow deep in my gas tank while I was polishing up the car, getting everything ready and cleaning it up. And he had his elbows in gas fixing my fuel pump. We found one there, and he replaced it, and it was good. And we ended up taking best in show. So all the hard work. I think we got maybe 45 minutes of sleep the entire weekend.
Yeah.
But it was worth it, man, and we had a blast for sure.
Yeah, that was a good time, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's always a good time just hanging out with you guys and just having those experiences after the show, because what everybody always sees is just what happens at the show. The booths are up, the cars are out, but what I really enjoy is everything that's after it. You get to bond with people, talk to them, talk about their cars, and actually see who they are as a real person.
Yeah, that's my favorite part too. Because like you said, it's a lot of business at the shows. You don't really, especially if you're vending, you try to give every person that comes up as much undivided attention as you can. At least for me, like, I'm so grateful to all of our customers and supporters, because without them, we couldn't do what we do, right? We couldn't build these awesome cars. We couldn't travel the country. We couldn't, this is my main job. This is what I do. So without that, I'd be working like a 9 to 5 and working for somebody else. And, I get to work from home a lot of days. So I kind of, I get to raise my 3 kids, which is awesome. So, it shows I really try to interact with everybody possible. But there's so many people that are wanting attention from this way and that way. And, they want to buy this, they want to buy that, they want to look at the car, so it's definitely awesome. But after the show, getting to take that time to really kind of interact with people, learn about people, where they come from, what they're doing out here, and just getting to kind of feel people out is what I enjoy the most, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm ready for it now, dude. It's been way too long since we've been doing a show.
Well, for me, the last show that I went to was that Honda Day, all those years ago.
No way.
Because of the situation with our car. So it's been kind of, we're due, man. I'm ready to get back out there and everything. And, it's been a little tough, because our main advertising is that car, and, our shop RSX, our wide body turbo RSX. and getting to really grab attention with that and go to different meets and events and and stuff like that. So I mean, we've just been focusing here on trying to sell parts and doing the installs and stuff, and that's been obviously my main source of income for a while. But I'm ready to get back in there, show the car, and have some fun.
Yeah. So let's talk about the RSX a little bit. What
Sure.
have you won a lot of shows with it?
Yeah. Well, so I got the car in high school.
Okay.
It was my first car ever when I was like 17. And I built a lot of cars since then, but I've never been able to get rid of that car. And it's been through I don't know how many setups. But the most recent setup was the wide body. We did custom paint job, turbo, built motor, everything. And every show that we've entered it in, we've just about won, except for a second place at Tuner Evolution.
Gotcha.
Because at the time it was an accurate two-door class, so there were 3 NSXs, my RSX, and a couple other things. So we took second, which was surprising. I didn't think I'd place because going up against NSXs,
Yeah.
But yeah, so just about every car we've taken best in class or like best in show.
Very cool, dude. So what are some of the things that you have done to it?
So the motor's completely built, bottom end. It's a stock top end, but the bottom end's done. A lot of custom stuff. It's got a full race intercooler on it, but we kind of chopped it and made it like a backdoor intercooler.
Got you.
And then it's got a tucked rad from All In Fab, Wireworks harness. It's got Jay's Racing fenders, charge speed wide quarters in the rear, Sparko seats. I mean, everything's pretty much been touched. The only real stock thing is like the dash and the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everything else, is for the most part been modified or touched. So it's it's heavily modified for sure.
Got you. So it's been down for a while?
Yeah, so we for that situation, we had the wide body and paint done at a local shop here. And I kind of laid out to them exactly how the wide body needed to be done. Basically, you need to cut out a couple inches of the quarter panel on the outside in a big, follow the wheel well. And then you notch the inner part of the corner. You fold it up, you weld it to the outside of the body, you bond it. So that way it's still structurally strong. They never cut the quarter panels. So they welded a 2-inch steel plate to the outside of the quarter panel and then bonded it that way. So it was basically wide body, but with a stock wheel fitment.
Oh, wow.
So there, yeah, really big gap. And then after, I don't know, maybe 6 months, the bodywork started failing because they didn't prep the quarter panels correctly because the quarter panels they're fiberglass. So, I hit them up. I said, here's the issue, they said, okay, no problem. We'll warranty it. If you buy the quarter panels, we'll paint the car. So, all right, this could be a lot worse, whatever. So I get the quarter panels in there. They say they're ready for the car. I drop it off. And one thing led to another. I picked up the car last week after they had it for 2.5 years.
Oh, my God.
And they hit me up on a Wednesday, and they said, your car's ready. We need it out of here by Friday. So after 2.5 years, they must have needed the floor space pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I went and picked it up, and it was completely in pieces, nothing put back together, door handles out, glass out, weather stripping had just been torn out, so I've had to go and rebuy a bunch of stuff from Honda, which is fine, whatever. So I've basically got the car put back together, minus the rear bumper and the headlights. But we're going to be doing a new retrofit headlight kit, and then I got to wire some things into the bumper, but we should be good to go here soon the next couple of days.
Shit. So how'd they do on the quarter panels?
Well, since they were taking so long, I actually went into their shop and I cut the quarter panels and I did all the body work on the quarter panels. So they're done right this time, and God, we should be good to go.
What a headache, bro.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare for sure. God. So a lot of people, obviously from last shows and stuff like that, they hit me up all the time like, hey, bro, you still have the RSX? Like, are you coming to meets and this and that? I'm like, yeah, I mean, we got a little headache going on, but we'll get there. And so I'm excited to see all the people that we haven't seen in a while and come back and show out for the RSX,
Yeah, definitely. You have anything on schedule?
We did, but I'm kind of trying to figure out what's going on with all the shows because COVID going on, and a lot of shows are canceled and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think they're still doing Slammed Enough in North Carolina coming up, and Tuner Evo, I think. So I'm going to try to do that. And we're a big fan of H Day, but they're not doing the North Carolina show anymore. So we're going to have to go, I guess, to Maryland or whatever where they do it now. So
yeah, I think the next one is in September in Maryland, but it's not at MIR. It's at Cecil County Raceway or something like that.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, so we'll be out there for that one. That's gonna be our first show of the year.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. This year's just been flying by. So how's COVID been affecting you guys out there?
Well, my wife's a nurse at the hospital, and she works night shift. So it's been a little nerve wracking for sure. But here in North Carolina, we've been pretty lucky. We don't, at least in our county, haven't had a ton of cases. So like I grew up in Manhattan in New York City, and my mom is still there, and it's like crazy, dude. So honestly, I worry more about her up there than me, the wife, and the kids down here. So we've been all right. It's just been weird adjusting to like homeschooling the kids basically, and just keeping them entertained because they don't have their friends to hang out with, and they're kind of just going a little stir crazy,
Yeah, definitely, dude. They're on summer break forever, man, and once it comes back to going to school, it's gonna be hard for them.
I know. Well, my son just graduated 5th grade, so for him, he's been out of school for pretty much half the year. He'll be off for the summer, and then it's all to a new school and everything, So it's gonna be a crazy change.
It is, man. Are they talking about changing the days of school, having them go one day, not the next day, or something like that?
Not really. They haven't really addressed if they're still opening up in late August as they normally do. And they've kind of come out with sort of weird guidelines about riding the bus and students, like one kid per seat per row in the bus. You have to skip a row in between. And it's like, I don't see how that's possible, because they already have a shortage of buses. So I don't know how they're going to basically take a bus and take a third of the kids,
Yeah. It's unfortunate, man. But like you said, I'm just waiting for the dust to settle and see what happens with everything before I make any moves,
Yeah. How about you guys over there?
Everything is cool over here, I mean, cool as we've pretty much got used to it already. The restaurants, they're kind of opening up. The only restaurant that we've been to, it was pretty cool. It wasn't that weird. The tables are just spaced away from each other, and then the waiter or the waitress, they just have a mask on, which whatever, it doesn't bother me because it's like, go to Japan, it's pretty much the same thing. But
yeah, I was gonna say they pretty much, that's their culture, right?
Yeah,
I mean, whether they're or not.
Yeah, just like that, they're really conscious about their health, and there's not really much person-to-person contact, which is cool. I don't want to have anything else that somebody else has, and I want things to be a lot more sanitary. But as far as like saying that the kids can only go to school every other day, or like you're saying with the bus or the grocery stores with these crazy lines, like none of it makes sense to how it spreads, and like using common sense. Yesterday we went to a Christian. He finally had a soccer game back since at least 3 months, and we only play for half hour, and then the park ranger, whoever that is for a public park, just comes and kicks us out. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, bro? We're just out here playing soccer, and it's not like there was not even that many people. It's probably like 20 people all together with the kids and the parents. And it doesn't make sense because we can all gather up and go to the grocery store together, and nobody could say anything about it.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely weird. Like I tried to reflect on it and think about, when I was a kid, like I was really big into sports and stuff growing up. And like I had mono in 9th grade, and I made the varsity soccer team in 9th grade, and I had mono, and they're like, you can't play.
Yeah.
And it just being sick, like having that ripped out, I was like, oh my God, my life's over. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. But like, I was actually sick. But now for people that are healthy and fine to be able to be like, yo, you can't play, you can't do this, like, it's just devastating to kids, man.
Yeah.
It's It's not easy.
It definitely is, and I'm not the kind of person that takes rules lightly. I pretty much live on the edge that everything's legal as long as you don't get caught. So
I'm with that. Yeah.
it kind of bothers me having to change the way that I live. And
Yeah.
having to worry about wearing a mask or whatever. It's just it's frustrating, very.
Yeah. I'm kind of like that too, man. I'm always sort of on the edge with one thing or another, pushing the envelope a little bit, And I feel like a lot of people in this industry are kind of like that, little rebels,
Yeah, you have to, man.
Yeah, it's definitely strange, You can't go out to eat, you can't go to the store, you can't. Like the other day, we needed to go to Costco, and I told my wife, I'm like, well, let's get the kids out of the house, let's just go. Like they have masks, Let's go to Costco and just be out of the house for a little bit. She's like, oh no, we can't. I said, what do you mean we can't? We can go to like Walmart or whatever. She's like, yeah, but Costco's limiting one person per family at a time. I'm like, that's crazy, But I could go to Walmart. Like Costco's so much cleaner than Walmart. How does that work?
Yeah.
It's just like things don't make sense, man.
It doesn't, dude. So when we first were talking about NvUS, you said that you moved to North Carolina. Where did you come from? Was it Manhattan?
Yeah, well, so I grew up in Manhattan until about 15, and then I went away to boarding school for high school, and basically I was really athletic, and this kind of comes back to pushing the envelope a little bit. But me and my parents were always kind of arguing about something because I've always known what I wanted to do. And just kind of wanted to do it, and never really liked people telling me that I couldn't do something. And if people told me I couldn't do something, then I would challenge that and be like, well, watch, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So, and that, I think that plays a lot into business too, but we'll get into that. But yes, I grew up in Manhattan, and then at 15 went away to boarding school, which originally was sort of to find more competition because, I was playing in all the soccer leagues in the city. My main two were like soccer and tennis.
Okay.
And I was just running out of competition. Like I was in soccer, like scoring 14 goals a game, stuff like that, like just trashing. Yeah, just like trashing people. So they're like, well, you need more competition, and we need you out of the house.
Oh wow.
Which is kind of what I went to. So it's like, all right, cool. So went to boarding school. The first school I went to, hated it. It was terrible. Then I went to another one, for the last, I guess, 3 years of high school. Awesome. Loved it in Connecticut. And then I moved back home, for a couple weeks before I went away to college. And I went, to play D1 tennis, in Connecticut at college. And then I did that for a little bit, ended up dropping out. And, cause I don't know. I was really there to play tennis.
Yeah.
So that was like 8 hours a day, tennis, weight room, whatever. And then they wanted you to go to class. But for me, I just wanted to play tennis. I didn't care about class, So I kind of was just like, well, if I can't just focus on tennis, forget it. I don't want to do it. So I was dating a girl at the time who lived in Long Island, in New York. So I moved out to Long Island, stayed there for a while, and then was in the fire department out there. And then her and I split. And then I met my current wife there, and we, got married. I was by the time I was 23, I'll tell you this. By the time I was 23, we had 2 kids and we're married.
Whoa.
So everything everything went kind of quick. We stayed in Long Island for a little while, but it's so crazy, man. It's too much. Crazy busy all the time. Everything is crazy expensive. So we were sort of looking at places that that we'd like to live. And we knew we wanted to be near water somewhere, and didn't really want to be around the snow all the time, like 8 months out of the year, cold, So we looked here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and came down on a visit and loved it, and brought our kids down the next time and loved it. And we moved down, and we've been here ever since. So that was, I guess, the beginning of 2012.
Wow.
So just before NvUS, yeah.
So you didn't know anybody out there?
Nah, man, we just picked up and moved. Yeah.
How'd you pick there?
It's kind of funny. Like we were looking at places on a map, and it's like I don't want to go all the way down to Florida because that's way too far from family. Like you couldn't do that drive, a couple times a year. It'd be a nightmare. And I didn't really want to fly with all the kids because it gets expensive. So I'm like, I don't want to go that far. I don't want to go to Georgia because it gets really hot in Georgia. Virginia is kind of like New York, like it's crazy expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we kind of settled on checking out North Carolina, and we live 10 minutes from the beach, so we're right on the coast, and it's just beautiful down here, man. It's awesome, and
Very cool.
it's way more relaxed and just a different way of life. So we
Yeah.
just fell in love with it, picked up and moved, and we rented a townhouse for 6 months, and just decided we loved it. So we built a house, and now we live out here. And I have no plans of going anywhere else, at least for now. So
I love it, bro. That's fucking crazy,
Yeah.
man.
yeah, it's
That's
cool.
like some pioneer shit, dude.
Putting down roots, man.
Let's go here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. We were open to checking out different spots. But once we came here, it was just, and I had friends actually who lived here that I had met while I was away at school.
Gotcha.
Because in boarding school, you have people from all over the place. Like I have friends in California, I have friends from Jamaica, Europe. Like a lot of people were there for sports, so they had recruited people from different countries, to come play sports and stuff like that. So that was really cool. So I had a friend there who was from Wilmington, actually a couple of them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's beautiful. You should come visit." And they were always talking about it. So when it came up and it was time for us to kind of pick a spot, I'm like, "Yo, I've always heard Wilmington was pretty cool. We should at least go check it out." So we did, and that was the first and last spot we checked out.
Very cool, dude. That's a crazy one. So tell me about Manhattan, dude. What was it like growing up there?
Oh, it was cool, man. I always tell my wife, if I had, unlimited money, that's where I'd want to raise my kids. Because I grew up in an apartment building,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot different from a house, obviously, but there were kids everywhere, man. Like every floor you had an apartment with at least a couple kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up, just going across the hall to my neighbor's house or whatever, and we lived across the street from Central Park. So that was my backyard. So like for me, it was, I had the best backyard in the world. You had ice skating, you had baseball, you had tennis, you had swimming, like anything. So I just kind of grew up outside, man. Like, growing up was pretty cool. You could always find something to do because it's a city that never sleeps,
What was the streets?
So I grew up on 69th Street in Central Park West. So right on the long part of Central Park.
Got you.
So we had a park entrance right there on 69th Street. So I'd literally just come downstairs, walk across the street, and I was in the park.
Damn.
So yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was awesome. So I had a bunch of friends, from different schools, east side, west side, and you kind of grow up quick in the city because you kind of, you either walk or you take public transportation. So for me, like I grew up, walking a lot, but also taking the bus and the subway. So just kind of doing that at a young age, you get a sort of street smart about you, that, a lot of these suburban kind of people don't have. So it's just a different way of life, man. Like I said, from here to there, it's crazy, but, there was always something to do.
Yeah.
Like I would just go in the park. We could skate, so they have two loops in Central Park, the small loop and the big loop. And the small loop is like a couple miles around the park. And the big loop is like, it goes all the way around the park. It's like 20 something miles. So I would just go out there and skate or ride my bike all the time, and we would just all meet up, big group of us. And we just, skate and raise hell and just fuck around.
Yeah.
And it's cool, man. It was.
Did it get dangerous at times?
Yeah, a few times. So something they say is never to be in the park after dark.
Mm-hmm.
Which like I said before, if someone tells me not to do it, especially as a teenager, I was like, yeah, right, we're good. But yeah, I've been held at gunpoint a couple times, which was definitely scary. But I was riding. I was dating this girl that lived uptown on like 80 something street, and me and a buddy were riding our BMX bikes to go up there to meet her and a friend. And we were sitting just inside the park, and a big group of dudes come up. They roll up, and this dude's like, "Yo, that's a nice bike." I was like, "Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it." He's like, "Yeah, it's my new bike." I say, "Yeah, right." He's like, "Nah, dude, give me your bike." I'm like, fuck you. I'm not giving my bike. And my friend's over there. He's like freaking out. He's like, bro, give him the bike. I'm like, no, fuck you. So this dude's like, well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a chance. I'll fight you for the bike. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to fight you for the bike. And he pulls out a gun. He goes, how about I shoot you for your bike? And he fucking holds a gun to my face. And me being the dumbass that I am, I'm like, well, fuck you. You kill me, I'm going to give my friend my bike. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just talking shit, which I really should not have done. Looking back, like, really stupid. You know, I should have just been like, here's my bike, you know? And I don't know if someone's watching over me or what, but at this time, a cop car was just pulling around the corner, and his friend saw it. I was like, yo, 5-0, let's go. And they all fucking jet. So I call the cops, and I'm like, yo, someone was just trying to steal my bike, whatever. And we're on Central Park West, which is like a main street. Within 5 minutes, all of Central Park was shut down on both ways. They had a city bus that was full of undercover cops. They had taxis where the person was in the back of it, but the driver was an undercover cop. So, like, dude, it was shit that I couldn't make it up if I tried. Like, it was crazy. They just had cops everywhere. And apparently these kids were holding people at gunpoint, stealing BMX bikes all over the city. So it was like a BMX bike ring, dude. Like, they were stealing and trying to sell them, bro.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
No fucking way.
So we ended up riding around in the back of the cop car all night trying to find them, and got held up at the precinct, having to stay there talking, you know, and trying to identify people. It was nuts. Yeah.
So what did your parents do?
So my dad was a lawyer, and my mom's an author, and she writes. So she was a stay-at-home mom, but while I was at school, she was a writer. So she'd write during the day, you know, wake up early before I woke up, would write, you know, deal with me for a little bit until it was school time, and then, you know, write all day.
What type of books?
So she writes historical fiction. So it's, you know, everything is historically accurate, but the characters and the storyline are made up. So she has a couple of really successful, like, best-selling books, and it's the first book took her, I think, 10, 11, 12 years to write, just because of the research. So it's unbelievably insane how much research, you know, goes into books, man. It's something else.
Wow. Have you read it?
Yeah. The first one's about Buffalo, in New York, which is where she grew up. And it's about, like, the turn of the century and hydroelectric power. So it's all about electricity, because Buffalo was one of the first to use hydroelectric power. So if you ever seen the Niagara Falls, they used the water and the water pressure from the falls to create electricity.
Got you.
So it was called City of Light because it was like the first, you know, real city with mass electricity.
Yeah. Wow, dude. And then your dad was a lawyer?
Yeah. So he was I think like 50 when I was born. I'm adopted, so he was 50. My mom was, you know, I don't know, 40 something. So he had already been a lawyer for a long time. And then when I was probably 10 or 11, he retired because he was working crazy hours as like a trial attorney and stuff like that. So he wanted to spend, you know, more time at home and stuff. Yeah, so he retired and then was around for, you know, a while until I went away to school, and then he started working again, and he just turned 80, and he's still a lawyer working. He owns his own practice, and he works crazy, man. He's the type of dude he's a workhorse. He'll never stop.
Yeah. And they're still in Manhattan?
So he's in Connecticut. They've split since then. So my mom is downtown in the Village in Manhattan, and then with her husband, and then he's up in Connecticut with his wife.
Got you. Dude, I've always wanted to live in New York, bro.
It's so cool. It really is. I guess it would be like living in LA, you know, to a certain extent, you know, because like it's just crazy packed, crazy busy. But like when we moved out here, it was so different because if you wanted to go to the store, you couldn't just like at midnight or 12, you know, like 12 in the afternoon, go to the store. Okay, fine, it's open. Yeah. But you want to go somewhere, grab a bite to eat at 1 a.m, no problem. You go ahead. But here it's like everything's closed. Yeah. So you have to, you know, everybody's sleeping here. Nobody's sleeping in New York City. There's always something to do, movies or, you know, shows or whatever.
Yeah. I've always wondered what an atmosphere like that would do for me, do for the hustle, because it's like you can get something done any time of the day, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think if you're from Manhattan, you have a different kind of mindset and a different sort of level of hustle,
Mm.
than a lot of different places. People know how to hustle, man, and it's I don't know if it's because it's so expensive to live there that like you always have to be on that grind, but when we came down here, people are so friendly. They're walking around. They're like, everybody waves as you drive by. Everybody's patient. Up there, everybody needs to be somewhere at that second. They can't stop. They can't do anything. It's like a nonstop grind.
Yeah.
So you could definitely be successful, but it also takes a toll on you too, because it's like it's never stop ever.
Yeah.
You know.
And you're right. People aren't the nicest out there.
No, there's something to be said about Southern hospitality down here, which it's not like that up there, man.
Yeah, I love it, dude. That's why I've always said if there was somewhere that we would move to, it would be Atlanta. I love it out there.
Yeah, it's cool. That's another big city where you can get a lot of stuff done for sure. But yeah, I don't know. But you seem to be doing all right out there, though. So what's it like out in California in terms of all that stuff where you're at?
I love it, dude. I'm trying to never move ever in my life. I love it here, bro. If I do, it'd probably be within a 30-minute radius, if that. But probably just closer to LA. But
Gotcha.
I love it, dude. I love the weather here. I love the atmosphere. I love the people, the culture. It's just it is who I am, And I feel like if I moved in Oxnard. So Oxnard is on the coast, and we're probably from Malibu. I think it's literally the next city is Oxnard, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So, and then you go Malibu, then you go like Santa Monica, and then you're right there in the heart of LA. So, I mean, we're still maybe about 45, 50 minutes from LA itself, but it's just slow enough where you get to like relax and live life how you should. But if you need to, dude, LA's right there, and I take care of whatever I need to take care of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Definitely.
But you grew up near there?
I grew up here in Oxnard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
So I grew up in Oxnard.
Right? You had moved to like Nevada or something?
Yeah. So I grew up in Oxnard, and then about 2004 to 2007, I lived in Carson City, Nevada, which is right below Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe's in the mountains, but if you go down to the valley, that's Carson City. So I lived out there for about 3 years, and I got my taste of the outside of California, just a slower life. And I was like, nah, I can't do this, man. So I just lasted for about 3 or 4 years, and I went through a breakup over there, and that was kind of my sign where it's like, you know what, I'm going back to fucking California. Fuck this. And I did that, and then I started working at Best Buy over there, and dude, it's the life that I needed to live for sure.
Yeah.
I've went back to Nevada last summer, and I could never even imagine still being there to this day,
Yeah. Sometimes that's what it takes, man. You gotta, I think a lot of people in this industry have worked for other people. And I think we're all kind of the same breed to some extent, I tell my wife now, and she gets on me sometimes. She's like, man, you should go get another job and do this on the side and make, more, this and that. She's like, you talk to 17-year-olds all the time. And I said, yeah, but they're paying our bills, like times it can get annoying, but I don't have to respond to anybody else. Nobody could tell me what to do. Like I just, it's that mindset, man. Like I've worked the 9 to 5 before and made shit money, and it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's, and we're starting to branch out, into other things. But with business, especially when you start a company, you have to wear many hats.
Yeah.
And I think when you work for other people and you realize you can't do it, and you get to a point where you're making more money working less hours for yourself, it's time to go and cut the ties.
Definitely.
But yeah, man, I mean, well, you know, because you do it too, but you know, I'm a one-man show. I have a couple of sales reps that work for me and help sell parts. But I mean, everything from advertising, marketing, website development, talking to companies about parts and bringing on different brands. Like, I do everything.
Yeah.
So you have to be, you know, kind of well versed in different things. It's not just one thing.
I love it, man. So let's get back into Stage, dude. 2012,
Sure.
you start with NvUS. Then NvUS starts growing. Then come 2014, you decide to start the brand. Where did that motivation come from?
Well, you know, like I mentioned, I had been working on my RSX since about 2007. So from 2007 to 2014, I was relying on, you know, ordering parts offline. But that was still the time of forums.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the forums like every day. I'm like, dude, I got to learn everything I can learn. And so I was like posting on forums, selling on forums, just doing all different kinds of stuff. And then, you know, so 2012 came the whole thing. And I had first started kind of a little bedroom style company where I was selling LED bulbs out of my bedroom.
Gotcha.
Where I had my house and I was, you know, married and everything, but we have a 5-bedroom house. And at the time there were only 4 of us. Mm-hmm. So we had an extra bedroom. And I had all my light bulbs, LEDs. I'd import mass light bulbs from China and different places. And I would put together different kits for different cars. So all interior bulbs, reverse lights, LED, HID headlights, dash lights, all kinds of stuff. So people were hitting me up for lights, and I had this customer base for my light company, and so it's just that hustle, man. Just trying to sell those, and then I started talking to one of the NvUS members, and if it wasn't for NvUS, Stage wouldn't be around. So it's, you know, it's all part of NvUS. But I was talking to a member at the time who I was kind of friends with, and he was really pushing me to do it. He's like, man, just bite the bullet, man. Just do it. You're great at what you do already. He's like, but imagine you had a couple hundred brands and this and that. Like, you should really, really work on it. And, you know, I was kind of scared to go on my own and do it. So like I said, I have my business partner, and we started it. And he, the member that pushed me to do it, actually died in a motorcycle accident.
Wow.
Which is crazy. The last conversation that we had was him giving me all this like encouragement to start Stage, you know? So I'm like, if it wasn't for that member, man, who knows? But yeah, it's crazy. So you know, a lot of times I think of him, man, and I'm just like, I'm so lucky to have had NvUS, you know, to meet all these members and kind of really give me the encouragement to start.
Definitely.
But yeah, so we started in 2012. And at the time, I was really trying to be direct with as many brands as possible, because a lot of people in this industry, they'll just get like 1 or 2 distribution companies, and they'll just sell through a distribution company, which is fine and it works, and we do that for certain items. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, if I could get 25% off with a distribution company, or I could get 45 to 50% off, depending on the company, going to that company, I would much rather be direct with that company.
Yeah.
Which sounds great, but it's not so easy sometimes just to hit up a company and be like, hey, I want to be a direct dealer for you. You know, what do I have to do? A lot of times there's buy-ins. A lot of times they don't want, you know, they're like, well, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. We don't want, you know, like, we don't know anything about you. So, you know, trying to grow and figure that out up front was valuable. You know, to just a lesson on.
Now, let me ask you about that. When a dealer tells you that, you know, basically, who are you? Why would we give you an account? Is that hard to understand from a business owner's side of things?
It depends on where you are with the mindset. So yes and no. Like, when I first started, not having known any about the business aspect, I knew I could do the customer service. I know I could sell anything because I've been selling shit my entire life. You know what I mean? Like I used to sell shit at school all the time, like try to get kids to buy different shit, candy bar, whatever. Like, so I knew I could do that and hustle and sell stuff. And I knew that I could do better customer service than these people that take your money, you don't hear anything from them, and 6 months later your shit shows up.
Yeah.
But I had never done like built a website, or I had never had to interact with these companies like Skunk 2, for example, or Cybin, or even Downstar. Like the amount of emails that you guys get a day asking for stuff is unbelievable. But you don't think about that as a customer. So when I first hit up, I think I first hit up Skunk 2, and I was like, hey, I'd really like to be a dealer. What do I have to do? What do you need from me to become a dealer? And they're like, oh, well, this time we're not really interested.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, why would they not be interested? I'm trying to sell their parts. So at first it's kind of like it's a hard pill to swallow because you're just trying to make a living, but at the same time, you got to kind of realize where they're coming from. But as you get more involved, you get that thicker skin, and rejection is one of those things in business. Like you just have to, get over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes whatever, but I've always looked at it. And like I said before, that mindset of when somebody tells you no, I find a way to do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like Skunk 2 told me no at the time. And I'm like, all right, well, now I have to be better and bigger and do more for them to say yes. So how do I do that? So it was just like increasing the hustle, and at that time, I was a stay-at-home parent, and my wife was a nurse. So anytime I could try to jump on social media, or I could try to do this or that to improve my reach, or to improve, whatever, how many brands I could have, that's what I was doing to try to be like, not so much I'll show you, but like, hey, last time we talked, you said no because of this, this, and this. And since then I've been working on this, this, and this. So what do you think? You know what I mean? So you gotta take it in stride, and rejection's all part of it.
Got you, man. The reason I asked you that is because we're pretty much like that. I never take on dealers. And the dealers that we do have, I have actual relationships with them. And that's the reason, because I don't want our product to end up at just some random shop. I don't know how they're selling it. I don't know what they're saying about it. I don't know what it's even going to be next to, and it's kind of like the brand is like my baby, and I want to make sure that it's being represented in the way that I feel it needs to be represented, not the way that anybody else feels, but I still feel like a dick saying that sometimes, where I just tell people like, sorry, we're not taking any dealers right now. But then when I see somebody that I see that it would work out with, of course we'll set up an account, no problem. But I have to see that they have that hustle, and then our values align. It's a lot more than just trying to sell parts.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, and an example of that is with Stage and Downstar. Mm-hmm. So I remember I had hit you up in the beginning, I think, of 2014, and you were one of the original ones to tell me no, like, we're not taking on dealers. And instead of being butthurt about it, I'm like, all right, I got to do something, because number one, we live in like a beach town community, so there's rust and corrosion and stuff. So people are always putting rusty nuts and bolts on their stuff, but it drives me crazy. Like I'll see cars that'll come out with like an $8,000 paint job and they'll have rusty bolts.
Yeah,
I'm like, that just drives me nuts. So then I think after Honda Day, and that's another thing is if you can somehow interact on a personal level with some of these bigger companies, that's more like put a face to the name of the brand. Mm-hmm. Like that's more than just an email, right? So like if Skunk 2 is having an event, go show up. If Downstar's holding a cruise, go show up. You know what I mean? Like have that personal interaction. Mm-hmm. So after I think we met at a couple Honda days before, like here and there, but nothing like actually meet and have time to chill.
Yeah.
So after that Honda day in, I forget what year that was, but the one in North Carolina at ZMAX, we went out to eat with Jimmy and a bunch of people, and we were hanging out at the hotel. A while after that, I hit you up, and you're like, yeah, man, let's do it. So now we have Downstar as one of our companies on our line card, which is awesome.
Thank you.
But it's all about trying to make that physical kind of personal connection to me. And having that relationship is more important, I think, than just trying to like, sell some stuff quick here and there.
Yeah, that's exactly how I think about it. I know there's a lot of people in this industry that are here just to make money off of this industry. And I want to be around people who are here for the longevity, who are really passionate about this industry, and who understand what Downstar brings, and not just, oh, yeah, we had people ask about it, so we want to open an account. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, like, thanks for the love. Thanks for thinking of us, But
Yeah.
And I've had people that have approached Stage, because we do some wholesale too, or we'll have some smaller shops hit us up, because of the volume we sell with a lot of companies, we have their kind of max tier discount.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies that are just getting started or smaller will hit us up and they'll say, hey, we want to bring Stage and all your products. Can we do that? And a lot of the time, 95% of the time, I'll be like, no, we're not really interested. And like you said, I mean, Stage, I've had days where I've been up multiple days at a time working on something. I've been working on, all kinds of quality control with things. There are certain brands that I won't touch. I could have a 50% markup, which is good, and I won't touch them because of the people behind the company and the quality of the product. So if I'm not going to put it on my car, I'm not going to let you put it on yours.
Yeah.
And I could make a great amount of money, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the kind of, I want to be around people with that kind of honesty and integrity, So, like I said, I work with a lot of companies now direct, which is awesome because I can have that personal relationship with them. I can tell them, hey, we're going to be at this show. Do you have any products we could display for you? And they'll just send them. Like, I won't even pay for them. They'll just send them so we could do that. Which, I mean, that's like a mutual trust right there.
Yeah.
And then there's some smaller companies. We work, for example, with Vision Auto Works.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-man shop. His name's Cullen, and he builds retrofit kits. He does like Brembo retrofit kits, so you could retrofit a big brake kit to your car. He does headlight retrofits. A bunch of stuff. And he's a one-man show, and he's the same kind of dude, super honest. And I met him on the forums years ago on Club RSX, and we've always just been friends. That he's built his car, I built mine, and his Instagram got deleted because Brembo filed like a lawsuit or something saying that he was using their images, when really he was buying their cores, breaking everything down, modifying them, powder coating them to the customer's choice of color, and then posting a picture of the end product.
Yeah.
So they shut his Instagram down. So he just restarted, and he's like, hey, man, you think you could help me out with this and that? Absolutely. Don't even think twice. I got you.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But it's that personal kind of connection, of the same sort of hustle, like the same sort of mindset where, I think it's really important to be able to know that you could depend on somebody.
Yeah, that's huge, man.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Some of the brands that you guys carry, can you let us know who are some of the ones that you offer?
Yeah, so we've recently become really big in the air ride sort of scene.
Gotcha.
Which was totally unintentional. It was nothing even on my radar a couple years back. I think West Coast and East Coast is very different in that. Where West Coast is more about fitment and East Coast is more about how much power can I make even if my car looks shitty sometimes, So it's very different. So I've always had I'm going to do turbo kits. I'm going to do maybe coilovers, some body stuff. But really, what can we do to make cars fast? And it's all been about kind of building motors and, transmissions or whatever. But recently, in the past couple of years, we've been kind of the go-to for a lot of people for like airlift and air ride suspension. So now we're a direct dealer and authorized installer for D2 Racing, True Heart, Airlift, and a couple others. But really, D2 Racing and Airlift are our main two for air ride that we sell and install. Gotcha. And then, but I mean, we do, Cybin Carbon, Downstar, Skunk 2, AEM. I mean, we have, I think, probably 300 plus brands.
Yeah.
Probably 60 of those, maybe a little bit more, are actually direct. So we try to have access to, anything. But it's very rare that a customer will come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm looking for this. Can you get it?" And I'll have to say no. So yeah, for the most part, we can get just about anything. But with those brands that we do have, a direct relationship with, we really try to align ourselves with those type of people with the same kind of mindset. The people that'll back their warranties, like Airlift is phenomenal because they have that lifetime warranty. Mm-hmm. We've had an issue where we installed a kit and there was a problem with the ECU, the manifold. And they handle all their customer service. They want to be direct with the customer, even if it's bought somewhere else. So a customer came to me and said, "Hey, I'm having this issue." I said, "Okay, they want to talk to you direct." He called them. They said, "No problem. New manifold on the way. Just box that one up and send it back." Send out a brand new manifold free of cost. So they really stand behind their stuff. So we we try to be aligned with those type of people for sure.
I love it. So tell me about the name. Where's the name come from?
So the name, like I said, is kind of from the power aspect. We on the East Coast, I grew up like street racing and stuff like that, especially when I moved to Long Island because, Long Island's kind of big into street racing where, you go meet at Best Buy or you go meet at Target or Sears at Thursday night and you'll just race Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday even, or like on the highway. Mm-hmm. So with the turbo kits, a lot of the guys are always like, "Oh, I got a stage 2 kit. Oh, I got a stage 3." They're always talking about different stages. And I always thought that was funny because it's like you could say, "Oh, I have a stage 2 kit." Nobody knows what that means. You know what I mean? Like, what exactly?
Yeah.
Your stage 2 kit. Like, do you have a bigger turbo manifold? Do you have a bigger, like, what injectors? Is it an ECU? Is it a turbo? So for me, it was just like, listen, we're Stage, man. We hold everything. We have the upgrades. We have like whatever you want. It's just Stage, man. So it kind of just like a little play on, on those dudes. We're always talking about their different stages.
Dope, man. I like it. So tell me about Lucas, bro. He's an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah, man. He's got that hustle for sure. He's really getting into skating. And he watches Downstar skate all the time. Man. So like I showed him C2 a while back when he was first learning how to skate when he couldn't ollie.
Yeah.
And I showed him, I'm like, "Yo, this is my buddy Frank. Check out his son, man. He's learning how to skate." And he's like, "Oh, cool." And I think he was like 10 at the time. It was probably last year or the year before.
Yeah.
So he just turned 11. And so he was getting really into skating and he saw your skate decks. I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna order him a skate deck." Up. So he's got a Downstar skate deck, one of the original ones, and he's been learning to ollie and skate and all that. But I told him, I'm like, "Listen, Frank and his son are doing this kind of thing, and it's cool. Like they're going and giving back to the community." I'm like, do you ever have any interest in like what do you want to do when you grow up? Like, what's your interest? And a lot of the things were getting kind of weird with COVID and other things, so we're sort of hanging out at the house a lot, and he was watching YouTube. And he was seeing all these people on YouTube with like lifestyle brands and merch companies and, influencers in a way. And he's been asking me for a dirt bike forever. For like, since he was, I think, 4, he's been like, "Can I get a dirt bike? Can I get a dirt bike?" And his mom's a nurse and she's like crazy about everything.
Yeah.
She's like, no. So for his 11th birthday, I went out and I bought him a little pit bike, a XR70, a little Honda. And it was the night before his birthday, and I called my wife. I said, "Hey, can you have Lucas come outside?" And she's like, yeah. Come outside. And he saw me coming around the corner with a dirt bike in the truck. And this dude lit up, man. He was so excited. We got him a dirt bike and everything. And so it kind of started with that. Got him a dirt bike. Then I got one. Then I got my wife one. And then my other 2 now want one, so I got my little one on one, and now I'm looking for one for my middle one. But he approached me and he's like, "Hey, this is really cool. I really want to do this." But he's like, "What if we start like a merch brand?" I'm like, "All right, well, what are your ideas? What do you think?" And he came to me and he's like, "Man, I think I want to call it Pit Bike Nation."
Wow.
Because pit bikes are the style bikes because they have like the foot pedal to change gears, but there's no clutch.
Gotcha.
So these are 110cc and lower.
Okay.
So he he's like, yeah, I want to call it Pit Bike Nation. Can you help me with the design, like a logo and some stickers and some shirts? And I'm like, yeah, man, whatever. So actually, my the business I was telling you before, my LED light company from back in the day, I had a Facebook page with 2,500 people following that page, and I haven't touched it in years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, man, why don't we convert this page to Pit Bike Nation? So we'll still have those followers, and we'll just invite new people or whatever and blow it up. And we've joined some groups on Facebook, and I have a vinyl plotter here. Actually, we kind of came up with this logo here. I don't know if you can see it because it's in white.
Oh, cool.
But it's got the sprocket and everything.
Yeah.
And then he came up with this kind of.
Nice.
So he's come up with the logo, and it says "Let's Rip at the top, Pit Bike Nation." Then it's got our city at the bottom.
Yeah.
And he, we kind of been making some stickers, and my next door neighbor runs an apparel company, and they have one of those T-shirt printers where you can basically put your shirt in a printer and it'll print the design on it.
Gotcha.
So he's been making some shirts, and we ride our pit bikes all over the neighborhood, and everybody loves them. And they're like, oh, it's so funny when you guys come by, let us know when your shirts come out. So we're already, we have orders for shirts. And
wow.
We have some people in Australia, actually, that apparently it's like really big in Australia, pit bikes. So they've hit us up, and they're like, yeah, let us know when we can support and get some stuff. And so it's cool, man. It's cool for him to learn kind of hard work and interacting with people and the kind of grind and hustle,
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome, man, that he's showing interest at such a young age.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. But kids these days, man, it's a hard world, and it's crazy. And I feel like so many people are going to college and they're getting themselves into a ton of debt. Yeah. And then they're trying to work the 9 to 5 to get out of the debt. And school's important, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's almost like you're set up to fail, and, I dropped out of college. I've since gone back to college, but I haven't finished. I'm like a couple credits away from a 2-year degree, and I've just never finished. But at the moment, I don't really feel the need to, because I'm doing everything that we're doing. I'm making a living. My wife's making a living. We've kind of started getting into real estate investing. So we're doing that, which has been really profitable. And, so I kind of want them to learn first that you have to hustle, you have to grind, you have to figure out what that niche is somewhere that you could fulfill, like you with the bolts. You know what I mean? There was a big gap in the marketplace that you could fill. Yeah. And you did. So it's like, I'm trying to teach them, like, the hustle is the most important thing first, and then figuring out where to apply that hustle is also very important. But I mean, at the end of the day, we just all want our kids to be happy and successful, so whatever he decides to do, I'm behind it, as long as, he starts somewhere and he gets some experience.
Yeah, dude, I love it, bro. So what do we have to expect from Stage for the rest of 2020?
We are going to be at some shows, which is going to be awesome. Cause like I said, we've missed out on a bunch of events and stuff with our car not being around. But really, I mean, we're just trying to grow, and expand our reach. We're going to be at some shows. We have some new products dropping. Don't have the drop dates yet, because everything's kind of been backed up with, people not being able to work at full capacity. But definitely we're trying to expand our apparel. We have hats and shirts and stuff like that, but we need to come out with some new fresh designs, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever. So yeah, I mean, pretty much doing that, just trying to grow and meet people we haven't met yet, and kind of hang out with people that we haven't seen in a while, and, just trying to stay positive and help as many people as we can. Cause that's really why I do what I do, is just to make cool, meet new cool people, interact with people. Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's a hobby that I turned into a job. So I love my job. I love working. And I love meeting people that I haven't met that share that passion. Yeah. Really.
I love it, bro. Just the way that you break down the story, how you started off, you just took the chance to do it. And now you have a successful business, and you don't have to work for anybody ever. And it hasn't even been 10 years. Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be back in 1 minute. Heel Toe Automotive has been a supporter of Downtime with Downstar for quite some time now, and we know that they're in your corner, that they got your back, whether you're under a car or you just need some help. No matter your race, creed, engine platform preference, that motto stands true. Accord, Civic, S2000, any Honda, any customer, anywhere in the world, with equal respectful treatment for all. We at Downtime with Downstar share these values, and as a special gift to Downtime listeners, they are giving you guys a special deal. Using the Let's Deal function at the top of HeelToeAuto.com, you'll find an option to request a special quote. Submit a special quote using the key phrase, "I'm down with Downstar." Once again, the key phrase is, "I'm down with Downstar," for a special deal on whatever you're shopping for. And of course, if you need any help, Marcus from Heel Toe is available by call, text, email to help out. Heel Toe wishes you guys a happy, healthy, and safe 2020. So I know a lot of you guys are questioning, what is this whole cult thing that's going on? Well, we at Downstar are starting our own cult. What is it? Are you going to have to drink punch? Are we going to sleep with your wives? No, none of that yet. But what it is a direct number to us, meaning me, Frank Downstar. I'm the one that's answering the text. So please, right now, text us, 818-403-3473. You're just going to have to follow a couple simple steps, get added to your contacts, and text us. Let us know what you're thinking of the episode so far. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, anything, even want to talk about life, man, just shoot us a text. We're here to help you guys out, and we're here to have some fun, man. And that's what the cult's about. So come join the cult. 818-403-3473. No charges. We're not going to be selling your info. No bullshit like that, guys. Just straight up fun. So make sure you guys shoot us a text right now. 818-403-3473. And enjoy the rest of the episode. Have a good day.
I know. Yeah. I think for people that are trying to do something like this, it takes a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. And sometimes things line up and you just have to make the jump.
Yeah.
For example, like I have a buddy who's a very good tinter. That's what he does. He tints, and he's worked for dealerships and other brands, and he's always been asking me. He's been nervous about doing his own thing, and I told him, I'm like, man, you're talented. You've been doing it on the side. Like, he'll work 70, 80 hours a week at a dealership and then turn hours at his house on the weekend for his own customers. And I'm like, man, you're there so much at the dealership making less money. I'm like, you already got the customers. Let's just try to expand your reach. And he's always been really hesitant. He left his job at the dealership, moved to like a privately owned company, was there for a couple months, and then they basically went under and they fired him. And he's freaking out. I said, dude, this is the best thing that can happen to you, because if they didn't fire you, you would have never left.
Yep.
But now that you are scrambling, you are going to find a way to do it. He called me the other day. He's like, dude, I've never made so much money. I've never been so happy in my entire life. I'm like, bro, thank you. Like, I'm so happy that this happened for you. And he's starting his own thing, and he's making it, man. And yeah. I think, a lot of times we're scared to leave what society has sort of programmed us to be. And a lot of times, your parents put this in you. Okay, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, like something. That's how you're going to be successful. You're going to make money being a doctor or a lawyer. But you're going to have a ton of debt to do that. You're going to have crazy hours. You're not going to get to see your family. And that's sort of pre-programmed in your brain. Like, I have to go to college. I have to do this. But there are so many things that you can do thinking outside the box, where you can work less hours. You can meet awesome people. You could travel whenever you want to, and you're still going to make a good living.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just getting that push in the right direction, to kind of something happen.
Dude, I couldn't have said it any better than that, man. I really wish a lot more people would take that jump so they could understand how rewarding and fulfilling it really is, and how much, I don't want to say easier it is, but it is a lot easier than having to wake up at some time that you don't want to wake up to go work a job you don't want to work for some boss that you don't like. Like, that's way harder to me than running Downstar. Downstar is nothing.
I was working when I first moved to Long Island. I was working at Panera,
Yeah.
and I was a cashier, and I worked on the line, like making food and stuff. And dude, I would wake up, and at Panera you can't sit down, so I
Yeah.
would work like 8 9 hour shifts, and I'd be standing the whole time. And at the time, they wouldn't let you accept tips or anything like that. So people would try to slip me a $10 or $20 bill, and I'd be like, no, I can't accept that, which is like crazy. Like you'd have to turn it down. And man, I remember how miserable I was. Like on days that I didn't work, I was just like, I just want to sleep. Like I'm tired. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to do anything. Like I have no enjoyment in doing anything right now. I'm just so damn tired. And it's all working for somebody else, doing that kind of thing. And you know, I kind of realized that I shouldn't be working harder on somebody else's dream than I would work on my own.
Yep.
And in turn, I also learned that nobody will work harder for you at your dream than yourself. So you know, it goes hand in hand. And like you said, I think it's definitely easier to get out of bed to do something that you know is directly going to benefit you. You enjoy doing, you have a passion, it's your hobby. You know, I mean, they say that, right? Like, what's the saying? If you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yep.
And it's true. And I think that sometimes, like I say, you just need that initial sort of push or nudge in the right direction. And a lot of people are scared to kind of make that leap because of that pre-programmed mentality of you got to go to college, you got to do this, you got to do that. But yeah, I mean, so when you started Downstar, I know you were selling bolts out of your bedroom, right? Yeah. Kind of like I with the LEDs. And then you were on the forums a lot, and you figured out based on the forums that you had that customer base.
Yeah.
But so what for you, when you first started that whole thing? Like I've heard your story before because I've listened to the podcast and the different videos. I forget what event it was. I think it was IBOC or something. But you said that you had set up like a little table, and had your stuff at the table. What kind of, for you, like, were you scared about trying to do something on your own, or like were you trying to figure out like how to get your product manufactured? Like, what were your obstacles? I'm curious because a lot of people tell me all the time, like, it's almost like people make excuses as to why they can't follow their dream.
Yeah.
And I know for us, there were a lot of initial obstacles, but I'm curious as you know, to you, what your original kind of thoughts or fears or expectations or obstacles you faced when trying to start your own thing. And then also when you transferred from your house into your shop now.
Got you.
You know, how
Yeah, I totally relate to you about people when they want to start something. They just throw as many roadblocks in front of them as possible just so they can talk themselves out of it and it won't be their fault. You know, I spoke to somebody not long ago and they're like, yeah, I want to start this, but I need to talk to a lawyer. And I'm like, bro, you're already talking about getting your pies into Marie calendars and you've never even baked before. Like, no, you got to sell that shit out the trunk, bro. You got to start from somewhere before you start worrying about any other bullshit, dude. And that's just the way that I always thought about it. You know, I would just always sell things, just like yourself. You know, in high school, I used to sell CDs. I would sell, you know, Hot Wheels, Beanie Babies, everything, dude. Anything that had some value to it, I would sell it. So when I was on the forums and I was doing, you know, just had this new hobby, I seen that there was a need for the hardware. So once I found the hardware, I started posting it up. People are asking about it, and then it just clicked to me. It was just easy. You know, it's like if you're selling candy. Okay, cool. I have these Snickers. Oh, but do you have Twix? Yeah, I can get Twix too. Okay, can you get chips too? Yeah, I could get chips. And sooner or later, you're your liquor store. So I was just listening to the people. Yeah, I was just listening to the people and hearing what they wanted and the requests that they had, and then just started building on that. And then it was about 2000. So I started in 2009, and by 2012, I was just like, dude, it's so stupid to even be working at Best Buy anymore because I'm working here way more than I'm working at Downstar, but I'm making way more at Downstar than I'm making here, you know? So it was just one of those things, like, it was just logical to me. Everything was just logic. Okay, this makes logical sense to stop working at Best Buy because I'm already making money doing my own thing. And the way that I think about a job is the reason you need a job is to have money to be able to live. And the more money you have, the more freedoms you could have down the road. Being in business, the more money you have usually means the more responsibilities you have, so it doesn't mean that the road is a lot more easier, but it's a lot easier than working for someone, so it was just, I just kept building, just kept listening to the streets. People, oh, I would like this, but I would like it in color. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now let's move on to making our own beauty washers. And when we did that, that kind of just skyrocketed the brand. And then we just, more money means more that I could put into the business, means more opportunity, and just keep snowballing. And then that turned into us opening up our own shop because I wanted to have a separation from business to home, because I was doing it out of a spare room that we had at the house. So I would be working, and then Ash would get home, and she's been out all day, so she just wants to stay home. I want to leave because I've been here all day, and it was just a perfect transition to make to go over to a shop. And that's the kind of the way that I look at things now, is that you just see what's needed, listen to the streets, and if you can provide, do that. And that's what we've been doing, and it's been working, for the last 10 years. And it seems like it just keeps getting better and better because, 10 years into it, 2020, April was our top month in the last 10 years. And then I was like, wow, that's crazy to be able to do this 10 years in, and then May comes and beats April. So it's like, damn, this is nuts. Yeah. We must be doing something right, so that's what I'm always doing, man. We're just fluid, always understanding that things can change. Which way is the market going? What do people like? It's just forever evolving, and I feel that that's one of our strengths, never getting stuck in one spot and never relying on a certain amount of things. Like if we stopped doing Downstar today, I mean, I would have something else after this. We'll go full force in the podcast. So it's nothing, and that's the way that I like to look at business. I don't like to look at business as far as, or even having a job and having a career, as it. All of this has to do with just being able to make money. And with that money, you're able to live the life that you want to live. And then you get to do the freedoms that you want. Spend time with your family, go on vacation, buy whatever shit that you don't need, and just live the life that you want, not the life that society thinks that you should live.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I listen to a bunch of podcasts because I think it's really important to hear other proven people's perspectives on things. Joe Rogan's a great podcast. I love that podcast. Yeah. But Jordan Belfort does one. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's the dude from Wolf of Wall Street.
Got you.
I don't know the movie, but he's the real life dude, and he's one of those hustlers where he kind of was lower middle class family growing up in Long Island. Started his company on Wall Street, made shit tons of money, screwed a lot of people over, got caught, went to jail. Paid all that reciprocity to people. But he's one that will always land on his feet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it doesn't matter what it is, but he's always going to figure it out. I listen to his podcast a lot because he has a lot of like real estate people on there. He's got a lot of business people. And just trying to educate yourself and listen to different perspectives, I think helps for sure.
Yeah.
So I always like to hear other people's stories, like your story and other people's stories about, what kind of things can you take from their experience, and kind of learn from and help yourself grow. But I think it's all about that growth, to a certain extent too. Because like some people try to grow so fast.
Yeah. And
then it's just like it's too fast that they can't keep their feet under them. They're trying to do too many things at one time, so they never get good at one thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot behind the scenes that people don't see, when running your own business. And, like you said, I agree. I think it's definitely way more easier to do, this than working for somebody else, but it comes with its own challenges, and it comes with its own issues that we have to navigate and figure out. But, you know, I mean, at least with Stage, you know, my main mission is to try to help out as many people as I can, you know, not with like discounts or whatever, but just to make sure that if they come to me for parts, it's the best experience that they've had and will have customer service wise. Like, I'll take the time to email you. I'll take the time to give you updates. I'll explain whatever question you have. I'll explain that product in a way that you can understand it. You know what I mean? To where people have told me, like, man, whatever it costs, you let me know and I send you the money right now.
Yeah.
Because they know that if I have that product, I can personally vouch for it. Like, I won't, like I said, I won't put my brand's name behind another brand if I don't believe in the product, you know? So, you know, a lot of people would just tell me, like, man, if you think I need it, you let me know, I'll get it, you know? And to have that trust in an industry where there's a lot of people that are just trying to make a quick dollar,
yeah,
you know, I think is cool and is important, you know?
Yeah, you got it, man. You got it, and you're doing it, and it's proven already, dude. And I love to see your success, and I can't wait to see what you have coming in the near future. You know, I'm excited for you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think we're gonna try to make it out to California for the NvUS West Coast Annual.
Yeah.
Which September, I think, or October. I don't know, September, October.
Got you.
But Ranger from Elite Tuner is going to be out there doing everything with Jimmy.
Gotcha.
And it'll be a really big, awesome show. So I'm hoping that we can make it for that. Yeah. You know, and try to bring a booth out or something.
Hell yeah, man!
Just try to meet people. You know.
Well, I look forward to seeing you at the meet, man. We'll definitely be there. And Tristian, bro, I appreciate everything, dude. I appreciate your support for Downstar, and I appreciate you being on today, man. And I wish you nothing but success.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, for sure. It's cool to get to be on here. Like I told you before, I've started listening since the beginning, and I've listened to almost all of them. So it's cool to get to hear other people in the industry, you know, get to kind of share their experiences. So, you know, when you hit me up and asked if I want to be on, man, it's definitely something, you know, that was cool. And so I appreciate it. If anybody needs parts or anything, hit us up. I'd be more than happy to help out with whatever we can. Either Facebook or Instagram is a great way, or check out our website, although we're constantly adding to that because I've been building that website from scratch. So I have to do part by part, picture by picture, description by description. But yeah, we're here to help.
All right. So is that at Stage Motorsports, one word?
Yeah. So Instagram is at Stage Motorsports. Facebook is facebook.com/Stage Motorsports. And then our website is www.stage-motorsports.com.
Gotcha.
Either of those work, or you can send us an email or whatever to info@Stage Motorsports, Stage-Motorsports. But yeah, I mean, we try to take the time to see all comments and everything. So if you message us, we answer our DMs ourselves. You know, if you post something in the comments, you know, I try to write back to every individual person. So make sure you hit us up.
I love it, man. Guys, make sure you check out Tristian, Stage Motorsports. Great people for the community. Big shout out to NvUS. Shout out to Jimmy. Huge family, man. I love to see that. And hopefully we get to see you at the annual meet.
Yeah, if anybody's interested in NvUS, get in touch with us. You could, if you just type in Team NvUS in the Facebook search, you'll see our page, or you can check us out on Instagram. Send us a message if you're, you know, interested in joining our family. We're always looking for cool people, cool cars. Doesn't matter where in the world you are. We'd love to hear from you. We're always growing, and it's the best family to be a part of. So check that out too.
I love it, man. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to NvUS. And a huge shout out to our sponsor, Heel Toe Automotive. Been around since 2002, supplying you guys with the Honda parts that you need. Make sure you guys check them out at heeltoeauto.com or on Instagram at Heel Toe Automotive. And shoot us a text, man. 818-403-3473 if you want to join the first ever cult in the automotive industry. Let us know. You're not going to have to drink the punch for a few years from now. I still got to do some work. And yeah, man, really exciting things we got going on. Make sure you check out Stage. And thank you guys for listening, man. This is Downtime with Downstar, episode 177, and we're out. Peace.